Calibrating cybernetics.
Talk to him now.
AT, Andre.
Come on, Dre.
Yep. Trippin with Let's Go. Woo! Trippin with Theobold.
What's your name?
Theo so bold.
Yeah.
Driggity. Let's go. Trippin with Theobold. Trippin.
What are we doing?
Trippin with Theobold.
Come on, Dre.
Mic check, 1, 2, we on? Hey, what's going on, y'all? And welcome to the 52nd episode of Trippin with Theobold. I'm your host, Andre Theobold. Let's go ahead and get into it. But before I do, I gotta put some chapstick on my lips, because my lips is ashy right now. I should have did it before I started the stream, but oh well, you know. All right. So welcome to the show. And before we get things going, you guys know what I like to do. You guys know that I am a very, very passionate Buffalo Bills fan. So, I like to show tribute, pay homage to Buffalo Bills of past and present. So today's episode is tied to number 52, John Holisek and Preston Brown. Right? Preston Brown was a Buffalo Bill. He was more recent than John Holisek, as you guys may or not be able to see. Before we go any further, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're watching on a streaming platform. But yeah, today's episodes are linked to Preston Brown and John Holisek. I remember John Holisek because he came I think he played during the Flutie era, and I remember him just being a solid linebacker, and I remember the announcers always messed his name up, right? They would either say John Holicek or John Holisek, but we gonna call him John Holisek. That's what we gonna call him for today. So today's episode is linked to those two Buffalo Bills. What was I talking about? So, excuse me. Want to apologize too, right quick, for being on a little 2-week hiatus. I had to go to Buffalo to handle some business again. We're trying to get this property off the ground and having some difficulties, but we're getting there, slowly but surely, so yeah, I want to apologize for that. I was gone for 2 weeks. Told you guys I'll be back this week, but I'm sorry. I'm let me stop saying I'm sorry, man. Let me just go ahead and just talk, right? So, the reason why this episode of Trippin with Theobold is taking place in the morning is because it's almost football season. And as you guys know, when it is almost football season, that we have to, when it's almost football season, we have to do our fantasy drafts. And I'm in a whole slew of fantasy drafts this year. I have one league I was in for about 8 years consistently. They stopped doing it for this year, so that's a bummer. But it's also kind of a little blessing in disguise because I have like 2 other leagues that I recently joined. So I'm in those 2 leagues. I'm in those 2 traditional fantasy leagues, and then also I am in I'm in a pick'em league, and in addition to a pick'em league, I am also in a I'm in a survivor league, so that's 4 right there, and then there's another DraftKings-ish weekly league that I'm in that I have to probably contact Mark about. So Mark, if you're listening, I didn't forget about y'all. So anyways, that's why we're doing the show now in the morning. That's why we're doing it in the morning, because I have a draft this afternoon, and I don't want to be doing picks and like stressing myself out while I'm doing this podcast. That wouldn't be fun, because there's one league I'm in. Let me tell you about this one league I'm in. I'm in this one league where last year I finished dead last. That's very That's very uncharacteristic of me. You know, I typically don't do that. I typically finish like, you know, top 3 in all my leagues. But this league I'm in is a 16-team deep league. It's a keeper league. So I've kept or I'm keeping Justin Herbert as my keeper for this year. But if you do the math, it's a 16-team league where you have to pick a keeper from the last season. So 16 of the top players are going to be gone. So this is going to be a very, very challenging draft. So I need to be focused. I need to have all hands on deck so I can get this money. So anyways, that's that. So you guys know I also like to do a tongue twisty to get the show started. So today's tongue twisty is heed the head henpecker. Or we got 2 tongue twisties a day, right? Heed the head henpecker. Say it with me. Heed the head henpecker. One more again. Heed the head henpecker. All right, then let's do the second tongue twisty, you know, because I feel like these help out with my speech. You know, sometimes I get tongue twisted and I be stuttering and stuff. That's why I say, come on, Dre. So far, we haven't had one of those yet, but we're probably going to have those. And when we do, we are just going to move along when that happens. So here's the second tongue twisty. The second tongue twisty is Harry the hungry hippo is happily eating ham in his house. One more time. Harry the hungry hippo is happily eating ham in his house. 3 times. Harry the hungry hippo is happily eating ham in his house. Yay, we got through the tongue twisties. So, I've been having, like I said before in my last episode, I've been having some like very vivid dreams, crazy dreams that I remember when I wake up. So today's, let me fix my chair right quick. I keep rolling back and I want to make sure my audio is really hitting through where I need. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. So like I said, in the past, I've been having or as of recent, I've been having very, very vivid dreams. Like I'd be waking up like, man, that was a hell of a dream. You know? So last night I had this dream where I was at it was weird. I was at my high school, where I guess the high school was the new White House or whatever it was, right? And some of the buildings were like, or some of the rooms were like distorted and kind of like remapped in the building. And I believe Vince McMahon was the president of the United States and Donald Trump was the principal of our school, right? And it's weird because that's the part I'm trying to really understand is I was in my school, but the school was like the White House, right? But anyways, I remember I had a meeting with Trump or whatever, and I was like nervous as shit, you know. And you guys listen, I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm a nobody supporter. I just want to make sure I get that clear. I'm apolitical. I don't have a dog in either fight. This is just my dream. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I clarify that. But anyways, I was in this office with Donald Trump, and he pulled out some photos, or no, he asked me what did I think of the current president of the United States, who was Vince McMahon, you know, and I gave a little safe answer. I was like, oh yeah, he's a very upstanding individual, you know, and then he pulled out some photos of him in this like catalog where he was like either pimping himself or he was like he was basically like a gigolo or some shit, you know. And Trump was like, yeah, he doesn't need to be in office, you know. I'm about morals, I'm about upstanding citizens running the country and all this. And then it was like some big fiasco that happened, and then we ran outside, and I think he had it was supposed to be Marine One, but it was this little toy light green helicopter, and it could really fly, but it just looked real shitty, you know. And I tried to get in the helicopter with him. He's like, no. He's like, no, you can't get in. And I was like, oh, okay, my bad. So those are the kind of dreams I be having. I be dreaming about some weird shit, you know. So if you guys have any interpretations of what that dream is, put it in the comment section below. You know, I'm interested to hear what that dream might mean. You know, excuse me. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the DFS portion of the show. So right now, I gotta check I gotta babysit these lineups, you know, because right now it is 10:05, and I believe there's a competition coming up that I'm in that starts at, let me see what time it starts. Oh, it already started. Okay, cool. It already started. And this is the part about DraftKings I hate, is you have to babysit lineups, especially in baseball, because at the last minute, you know, players get yanked out and you have to like pay attention to all that. Then you have to worry about the weather and all that fun stuff, you know. But I have a strategy I want to share with you guys. I have a new strategy that I came up with. Very simple, yet effective. Haven't hit it big yet, you know, because I believe that of all the methods I have, I feel like there's going to be a fusion of these methods that will work to help me win the big bucks, right? So this new strategy I have in DraftKings really is what I do is I focus on the hits, right? Because at first so about 2 weeks ago, I was focusing on home runs, right? I said, if I can predict who can hit a home run or who's overdue for a home run, if I get a home run, I'll get at least 12 points, right? But what I didn't realize is, like, it's very hard to predict home runs in baseball. I mean, all you can do is say, okay, find when a player last hit a home run and then find out when he hit a home run before that, and then look at the amount of days or the amount of games in between that, and then see if he's over that limit now, you know? And sometimes I got lucky. Sometimes, you know, most of the time I wasn't lucky when that happened. So I said, you know what, let me take a step back and just be real simple. Like, what do you need in DraftKings baseball or in baseball daily fantasy sports to ensure or to increase your odds of winning? And what you need is you need to get hits. Duh. Right? So what I do is I predict hits, right? That's what I've been doing. And I've been looking at, I need to build a histogram to kind of show the distribution of the number of hits per player. That would be dope. You know, I need to actually get that in the works. But to my surprise, like, most players on average will get like one hit a game. And then a little bit less than that will get no hits. And then even less than that will get 2 hits, right? Or multiple hits. And if you can stay away from the players that are going to get 0 hits, you're going to increase your chances of winning. It's just that simple, you know? So, for example, I should probably pull up an example to show you guys. Let me go and pull up the magical Line Star data. Yeah, today's episode is brought to you by Line Star Data. You know, they give you all the data that you need to confuse yourself, but you need to know what to look at in order to make sense of things. So let me go and plug this in, and you know how we do over here. We like to show our work. So let me go ahead and, it's been a while. Like I said, I've been on a little hiatus, but I should be able to get myself up and running in 1 second. If only I could find, oh, here it is. Got to find the QuickTime app. Plugged in my phone. Once I plug that in, I got to do a new screen recording, I believe it is. No, it's not. I messed that up again. Okay. Don't want to do that. How can I get up out of here? Oh, boy. Let me hit cancel. Get rid of that. Okay, here we go. Let me do, I knew it was one or the other. Looking for, that's right. I got to do a new movie recording. That's what I have to do. A new movie recording. Phone is up. Okay. And then I got to go to the Line Star app. Line Star app is up. Now I got to make sure that you guys can see it. Okay. this feels like that whole time when like you set up a new Ring camera, and that bitch come on and says, Rome wasn't built in a day. I don't know, my voice changed like that. But she says, Rome wasn't built in a day. I'm like, I know, bitch, just hurry up and get my shit connected. I know y'all listening, so just, bear with the player. All right. So I want to do my window capture. There we go. Yay. And we are here. So I'm going to go ahead and make this thing big so it covers up my face so y'all can see what I'm talking about. So y'all can see the data. That's what I'm about. I'm about showing the numbers. So here we go. So basically what I do is so today so for right now you're looking at Julio Rodriguez, aka J-Rod on the Seattle Mariners, and I'm using the Line Star app. And what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the H's, right? The H's stand for hits. So if you look at his pattern, right, starting with August 14th at Texas, right, and going through today, he went 0 hit, 0 hit, 3 hit, 0 hit, 1 hit, 3 hit, 3 hit, 0 hit, 1 hit, right? So if you look at that short time window, time span, if you notice, every other game, pretty much, he's hitting 0 for the most part, right? But in particular, after he hit 1 hit a few days ago, on August 19th, he had 3 hits the next game, right? So I'm taking my odds on that he'll get me not necessarily 3 hits, but multiple hits. I'll take multiple hits from J-Rod, I'll take that. And then if you want to go even a step further, you can then look at his performance versus Cleveland, right? So if you look at his performance versus Cleveland, he's a rookie, so he has none, right? But let me look at another player, right? Because I had to pick, who did I have to pick? I had to pick another player at the last minute. I had to pick, who did I have to pick? Let me just find my player right quick. Yeah, I had to pick Randy Arozarena. That's who I had to pick. I had to pick Randy Arozarena last minute because the guys I picked before, or the person I picked before in tier 2 or tier 3, he got scratched, right? So at the last minute, I had to pick Randy Arozarena. I'm not really a big fan of Randy Arozarena, but I looked at it here. So back on August 16th, he had 1 hit followed by 0 hit, right? He went 1 hit, 0 hit, 1 hit, 1 hit, 0 hit, 1, 2, 3, 1, right? So if you look at the hit pattern, most recent, he had 2 hits after 1 hit, 1 hit after 1 hit, then he had 0. So I said, let me go ahead and look at his performance. So I looked at the performance and I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, okay, wow, interesting. So it's pretty risky picking him after he had 1 hit, because last time he had 1 hit versus the Angels, he followed that game up with no hits. But what I'm looking at is every other game or every 2 games, he hit a home run. So I'm putting my money, or my little few coins, if you want to call it that. I'm putting my few coins on Randy Arozarena getting me at least 1 hit and 1 home run today. So I'll take that. That's why I went ahead and went with him, right? So I've been doing this, so I can go and close this out now. So I've been doing this method, and when I win, I haven't won big. I won like, $2 here, $1.50 there, haven't won like too much. But when I lose, I don't lose that bad. I'm like right on the brink. I'm like right on the edge. I'm like either like 2 points away from being in the green. You know what I'm saying? So I'm figuring something out when it comes to this DFS baseball, but just wanted to share that with y'all today. So, in the comments below, tell me if y'all try it. Tell me how much y'all win. If you have any other ideas, put them in the comments, and maybe I'll go through and try them out myself and see if I can't get some bread off it, But yeah, so that's really all I wanted to talk about today for the DFS portion of the show. And how rude of me. I forgot to, let me go and close out this app. I don't want to do this anymore. I hope I don't close out the wrong thing. Okay, now I'm good. Cool. So I want to I want to promote I forgot to do my self-promotion thing for today, right? And today I want to promote, again, the brimless hats. Y'all see it? These brimless hats, man. At first I was like, man, these hats look funny. I don't like how they look. But now I'm like, man, these hats is where it's at. Come on, Dre. See, I caught myself right there. See that? I caught myself. But now I like these hats because when I travel, right, when I go on like when I come on, Dre. I like these hats because when I travel on a plane, I don't have to worry about the brim getting in the way, you know? So as you guys can see, let me show y'all my hat right quick. So as you guys can see, it's an adjustable brimless hat, right? So I like this hat because when I'm on the plane, like this part of my hat is exposed, right? Or this part of my head is exposed. So when I'm on the plane, like I don't have to worry about my skin touching the back part of the seat because all I gotta do is put this up, right? But if I had a brim hat or a hat with a bill, if I put this hat backwards, it's gonna bend up against the back part of my seat, right? And it's gonna bend my hat up. It's gonna be uncomfortable, you know? So I can just put this on, and then when I get off the plane, I'm done, put it back like this, and I'm good, you know? This hat stays out the way. It's very efficient. So I'm gonna get a couple more of these, man. I like these brimless hats, you know? They're they're very unique, and I like them. So that's what I wanted to promote for today. Now don't everyone go out and get the same hat at once, but you know, or do it. I'm just messing with y'all. Do what you want, you know. But this is a hat that I like. I have like I think I have like 3 of these hats so far. I bought one. I did a little 2-for-1. I bought one, and they gave me one for free. So I might go ahead and, you know, get 2 more. Why not? So talked about that. So that leads us to today's episode, or what this main topic is about. Today's episode, I want to talk about being openly nice. All right. Being openly nice. Now I know you guys see the happy, jolly face and the Cheshire cat grin. You know, I know you guys see all this, you know. But I had to learn, like, pretty as of recent, maybe like a couple years ago, I had to learn how not to be openly nice. Right? 'Cause I used to be the jolly happy Negro, right? Like I was a super happy dude, always wanted to, you know, be nice to everybody, wanted to always, you know, be super helpful, and I always did whoa, come on, Dre. That was a bad one. But I always wanted to be the happy, jolly Negro that was very unconfrontational, you know, that always so I always ended up small talking. I always ended up like saying more than what was necessary just to kind of fill the space. You know, I was very unsure of myself. And I learned a valuable lesson from that, right? It was a painful lesson, but I learned a valuable lesson with that, right? The reason why is, let me go ahead and tell the story, right? This is like kind of story time right now. So the reason why I'm not openly nice, or not as openly nice as I was before, was because we're in an age where people in society, in my opinion, shouldn't be able to mix amongst the people like that. There's some people that shouldn't be able to mix amongst regular people, you know? You know, it's all about respect, you know? And some people, like, either don't have that, or they have psychological issues that prevent them from doing that. All right. So I'm not trying to diagnose anybody or nothing like that. I'm not trying to do any of that. But I had a situation a few years ago with a neighbor, right? That kind of woke me up and kind of showed me, hey, look, man, you gotta be more reserved. You can't be jolly and happy and helpful around everybody, you know, because people will look at that and read that as a sign of weakness, and they're going to try you and they're going to test you. And that's what happened with me. Right. So what happened was, I used to live in Orange County. And I had a neighbor that was loud as hell, but he moved out, right? So when he moved out, I was like, yes, my loud neighbor is gone, because he had like the super subwoofer sound system thingamajig or whatever, and it would just rattle my whole apartment, right? So when he moved out, I was like, thank God, yes, thank you, you know. But you gotta be careful what you wish for, you know. So basically what happened was, one day I was out in the laundry room doing my laundry, and this guy came in, non-black dude. I don't really want to get into the race of the person or whatever, but it was this dude came in or whatever, and he looked kind of like on edge, but he came in and I was the only one in the washroom, and he was like, hey man, is it safe around here? And I was being me, like me being the happy, jolly Negro that I was back then. I was like, oh yeah, this is a nice complex. Oh yeah. I was like, man, you'll like it here. It's fun. Oh man, the landscapers do a good job, and oh man, you'll like it here. You know, welcome. Right? I was one of them motherfuckers, you know. And then he kind of looked at me and was like, oh, all right. And then one day I was at work, right? Or every day. So at my last job I was at, which I fucking hated. I lived around the corner from my job, so I would come home for lunch for like a half hour, you know, wink, wink. It's like, now I would come home for a half hour, 45 minutes ish, you know. I would come home for like, you know, a half hour, 45 minutes, and I would eat my lunch and then go back to work, because I didn't like really being around my team like that at work, because most of the people on the team, or not most, I would say a few people on the team, they really like just rubbed me the wrong way. So as I was leaving out my unit, as my door opened up, my neighbor's door opened up, you know, and then I had this thing where I like to always double check to make sure that I lock my door whenever I leave. So I left my apartment, or left my unit, and I went back to double check that that my door was locked. So when I did that, it was locked. When I came back, I saw the guy that I saw in the washroom, and I was shocked to find out that he was my new neighbor, you know? So I was like, oh, hey, how's it going, man? I was like, hey, I was like on some, hey, how's it going? Like, you know, I didn't know you were my neighbor, right? Because I remember I met him in the washroom, and this dude didn't, like, he looked different, but the same, you know? Like, he had a hoodie on with his hoodie over his head, and his eyes were like dark underneath his eyes or whatever. He just looked real, like he looked different, you know? And he didn't respond to me right away. And then he responded with he was like, yeah, man, you gotta be careful around here. I said, huh? He's like, yeah, you know, you gotta watch where you're going. You know, you gotta be careful going down these stairs, because people been falling down them. And I said, falling down these stairs? I'm like, what? They've been falling down these? I'm like, I said, what are you talking about? And then he just went, and then looked at me, and then went back in his apartment, and then shut his door. And I was like, man, what the fuck? I'm like, yo, this dude came out of his, like, he basically waited for me to come out of my apartment to tell me that monkey shit, right? So I was shook, you know, because like I was waiting for the joke, but it was no joke. It was like, this dude was like, you know, he had me shook, you know? So I was nervous, you know. I called some friends of mine, right? And I called like 9 friends of mine at the time. And like three sets of my friends, or 3 people had 3 different, or all my friends had 3 different responses equally across. I don't know how to say that the right way, but 3 of my friends basically were like, oh, that's funny, he just fucking with you, right? The second third of friends were like, nah, he off, you need to go and tell somebody. And then the third set of friends were like, nah, that's prison talk, that's prison yard talk, you got to get him before he gets you, right? So I'm like paranoid, right? I'm like, man, so I'm like, why would this dude come out of his way to tell me to watch where I'm going, and to watch, you know, going down these stairs? Because those stairs led to his apartment, you know, or led to his room. So I had to go down his stairs to get to the courtyard to get to my car to leave. So the reason why I think I was shook too was because about a week or so before that, there was like a lot of like banging, like it sounded like someone dropped the refrigerator down the stairs. Like that's how loud it was. Like it shook my whole apartment. So I'm thinking to myself, like, are people really falling down these stairs? And if so, how are they falling? Oh, is it because this motherfucker right here is pushing people down the stairs? So, I turned into like a little old white lady, a little old white concerned Karen. And I went to the leasing office, and I was like, hey, excuse me, have there been any reports of people falling down the stairs around unit such and such? And the lady in the desk was like, oh no, oh my God, no one's fallen. So I said, okay, well, my new neighbor, he said people have been falling down these stairs and they've been falling fatally, And then she looked at me like, oh shit, that's the crazy motherfucker. And he's starting to show his ass. So she said I looked at her eyes and we made eye contact and she had that look like, oh shit, that's some scary shit. But her response was, oh, I'll get the maintenance person to come by to come look at the stairs. I'm thinking to myself, you dumb bitch. It's not the stairs I'm worried about. I'm worried about the person that lives above the stairs, So at that point I knew I was fucked, right? At that point I knew I was screwed because the people in the leasing office didn't live on the premises, right? They basically just came in at 9:00 and left at 5:00. And then if the shit turns into jailhouse rock at night, then that's on us, So I was, it's like I said, I was shook, And then I'm gonna do another episode, not about this, but like I tried to go through the police just to go talk to them, but that was dumb. I shouldn't have did that because I saw how the police really get down when it comes to that, right? Because at the end of the day, the police are not responsible for your safety, right? They're responsible for their safety first, So I'm gonna do an episode about the difference between firemen and police, and I'm gonna break that down clear as mud. Because once I had that revelation or that epiphany, I'm like, oh, okay, nah, cops are just custodians of the law with too much power. So you have to learn how to use them as a tool, from a documentation standpoint, right? But we'll talk about that in a whole nother episode. But anyways, so my one solution was, like I said, I had no firearm at the time. I mean, I have no firearm now. Had no firearm. But I had to basically go fend for myself. I was in a situation where I had to go defend myself. So I went to Target and got my Louisville Slugger aluminum bat. So I'm up here walking around my apartment complex with this Louisville Slugger aluminum bat, And I'm walking around with this bat because I'm like, look, here's the thing. I'm not looking for the dude, but if he comes across my path and then says something, or if he tries to attack me, I'm like, I gotta beat this dude's brains out. Like I gotta end this dude, And I hate talking violent. I'm not a violent person. I don't condone it. But when it comes to paying California rent prices, there's no reason why you should feel afraid to go to your dwelling at night, or period. You shouldn't feel scared to go to your spot. So I had this bat. I'm walking around this complex with this bat, and if this dude run up on me, hey man, T-ball session is in, And for those of y'all that don't know me, I mean, a lot of y'all don't know me, but I played baseball as a kid. I played county baseball. I played youth baseball. I'm a smaller person. I'm not that big, but I put my whole body into my swing when I swing a baseball bat. Right? When I played Little League baseball, I was the smallest person on the team, but I was hitting doubles and triples and home runs. Like I can crank that ball, right? I can crank that bat. So I'm thinking to myself, hey, look, this guy, if he's around, like if this happened outside in the public, like at a mall or somewhere where I don't live, I would have just let it be. I wouldn't have cared. But the fact that I live at this place and he lives next to me, it's either gonna be me or him, right? That's how I was thinking. It's either gonna be me or him, So I was shook, right? And I remember like I do a lot of open mics and shows, and a lot of the open mics I do, they don't get done till late at night. So I remember one night I came in from an open mic and I had my bat because I basically walked around with it as I carried it to my car, kept it in my car, and then when I left, I would always like carry my bat with me, like on the premises, right? So I remember, I was going to check my mail one night, and there was this old white lady that was checking her mail that was in my same mail area outside, and I stood a couple feet back, and she turned around and was like, "Oh my God!" Like I could tell she was shook, and I thought to myself, "Yeah, I'm scared too, bitch. Like I'm worried about this dude attacking me and stuff. Like I don't know this dude, you know what I'm saying?" So it just gets worse from there, right? So now I didn't tell that to the old lady. I mean, I thought that, right? I thought that I didn't tell that, or I didn't say that to the chick. But it just got worse from there, right? So it got to the point where like I was afraid to like every time I left my apartment, I had to basically time how long it took me to lock my door, you know, because I had to do everything within like 2 seconds and then be gone. And then I couldn't come back because I knew this dude was listening to my footsteps next door to me, you know? So I had to beat him out the door, lock my shit and move. And if I forgot something, then damn it, it was just forgot for the day, you know? So, I remember, like, I think maybe like a week or two after that happened. I mean, after our initial incident, there was like a dead spot, or like when I say a dead spot, I mean, there was a spot where there was like no vision outside my window. Cause I had this little skinny window to my left of the door. And it had blinds or whatever to keep them shut, but there was a blind spot beyond that part of my window. So I'm sitting by the door for like 5 minutes trying to just be still because I know he's listening to my footsteps, you know? So once I had worked up the courage to unlock the door and leave and be out, I come out, this motherfucker standing in the dead spot, right? And he's looking over like the edge of my area, right? And it's a common area, so I can't tell him he can't be there. But he made it a point to stand outside of my blind spot in my window. And he was like, "Hey man, I just want to let you know, man, it's okay if you use my stairs." And I'm thinking to myself, motherfucker, your stairs, you don't own those stairs. It's a public area. It's a public space. You don't own those stairs, right? But I was like, yeah, nah, I'm good. And I just kept it moving. So someone in the front office spoke to this dude and was like, you know, hey, you gotta cut that shit out, you know? So for the longest time, I just kept going down the stairs that were on my side instead of going down the stairs that were on his side. And that was that. Like I said, I'm trying to avoid this dude because there's something wrong with this dude. And I'm like, yo, if he runs at me and attacks me, I got to end him. I'm not going to scrap with this dude just to come back to scrap again. Right. Like, now I live here. I pay rent here. Right. I have a right to go to my dwelling and not be harassed. You know what I mean? So anyways, what else happened, man? So, it got to the point, man, but there were like some days where like I would be in the shower, like, you know, getting showered and getting ready to leave. And he would be on the other side of the shower, just like banging on my shower wall and making noises and just like, you know, just really being extra with it, you know, like it felt like I was in a prison, you know, it felt like a penitentiary. Like I never been in a penitentiary or a prison, but I imagine that's what it's probably like. Or there were some aspects of it there were some aspects of what he was doing that made it seem like that. So, let me take a little drink. My throat getting a little dry. Before we go any further, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend. For all you listening on a streaming or a YouTube or multi social media platform is the word I'm trying to say. So yeah, that was that. So anyways, probably keep this cap off so I can just grab my drink whenever I want to get a drink. So yeah, there was more, right? So it just kept, from the months of like May all the way through December, like I was putting up with this shit, you know? And it's well documented over at West Ridge Apartment Homes. Yeah, I'm putting you out there. You know, you guys are lousy. West Ridge Apartment Homes. Yeah, a very beautiful complex, very great landscaping. But if you live over there, or if you're planning on moving over there, make sure you have a firearm and you have a CCW, right? Because you may be dealing with you may have a crazy neighbor on your premise and there's no one there to help you. You have to help yourself, right? It's the wild, wild west out there. So, anyways, more stories about the neighbor, right? So I remember one night I came in to my unit and then I left out because I wanted to get me some Gatorade. I wanted to get some Gatorade, right? So I went to the corner store. I went to I went to like a gas station, right? I wanted to get some Gatorade because I didn't have any Gatorade in my apartment, and I didn't do any shopping at that point, you know. So I went ahead, I got some Gatorade, or I was leaving out to get some Gatorade, and lo and behold, as I walked out the door, his door opens up. You know what I'm saying? And he was trying to be like, oh, then he tried to be all friendly. He was like, hey man, hey, yeah, he was like, hey, do you hear like a weird noise underneath your unit? And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that's the garage, right? Because we're on top of the garages, right? And people, you know, whenever they leave, that's the garage, you know? He was like, oh, okay. And then he started to look around, and then there was an Indian family that lived underneath him, and there was an Indian family that lived across from me, across my way, right? And this dude basically was like, man, he was extra, man. He basically was like, he said, yeah, man, you know, I feel like they're fucking with me, man. That noise that's coming underneath my apartment, I feel like they're fucking with me, man. Yeah. So, you know, you better go talk to them, or if not, I'm gonna go lock them all the way in boxes. And I'm like, nigga, that's the garage. What the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to upset this dude because I don't want to, you know, I don't want to have to put him out of it. I don't want to have to go defend myself, right? That's the proper term to use. And then he looked over at the Indian dudes across my way, and he was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, man, you see what they're doing? He's like, he's calling him to signal him to fuck with me, right? So like if they don't watch themselves, I'm gonna capture them all and I'm gonna lock them away in boxes. And I'm just like, oh, all right. So I went home, I documented that. Like I kept a log of all that shit. I just kept a documented log. And the more I interacted with this dude, I went there, I made sure to go to my leasing office once a week to say, hey, look, here's paperwork, here's documented proof that, you know, this dude probably shouldn't be living here. You know what I'm saying? But then what else happened, man? I remember so let me actually back up a little bit. I remember the first time we met again after our first encounter. I was coming back from the gym that morning. Yeah, I was coming back from the gym, and I saw him kind of like walking by my garage because I had to park up around the back of the complex because they were stupid, right? Like they didn't know how to relocate people to put them next to their garage, right? So I had to basically walk either 100 yards through the courtyard to get to my garage, or I had to walk like 300 yards in a half semicircle to get to my shit, right? So I was always taking a long way around to avoid having to cut through the courtyard because I had to then go down the stairs that were on his side of the unit, right? Or of the building. So I basically came back from the gym. I'm parking my car and I see him. He's checking his mail. Then he starts walking towards me. And I'm like, oh man, why won't the dude just leave me alone? You know? So he walked up to me or whatever. And he was trying to be nice. He was like, hey, man, I just want to let you know, man, there's no problem with, you know, you using my stairs, you know. And I'm thinking to myself, like, motherfucker, these ain't your stairs, but okay, whatever. He's like, nah, man, use my stairs anytime, you know, my bad, you know, I didn't mean to, like, you know, there's no beef between everything is cool. And he kept talking. And then I wanted to just kind of like, feel him out a little bit more, right? So I kept talking to him, or I just kept listening to him, right? I didn't say much, I just listened. And, he told me, like, he said his dad was this wealthy person who lived in like Silicon Valley, and he was like a millionaire and all this. And he said his dad, like, you know, built like temples to help bury people that couldn't afford to bury their other dead family members, right? That he was like, yeah, man, we had to carry around dead bodies, and have you ever carried around? He asked me like, hey, have you ever carried a dead body before? And I'm just like, nah. And he was like, yeah, man, like dead bodies, no matter how light they are, like they're like, if you see a light person when they're dead, they're like heavier because it's just everything is just relaxed. And I had to carry like hundreds of dead bodies in this temple to help bury people, and I'm just sitting there like, yo, like he told me that, and then in the same, so we were outside for maybe like about 30 minutes or whatever. And then he was like, yeah, man, I've also been locked up in prison before. Like I just got out 2 years ago, and just telling me all this, just telling me like, so from our conversation, he was like, yo, he's been in prison. He's been carrying around dead bodies to bury them in this temple as a charitable act, as a charitable act, right? He was doing all this. So I'm like, okay, wow. So that's why like I had like concerns, because I was like, yo, like what he's saying is like, is just so descriptive. It's like, this shit is probably true, or some of it's probably true. I don't know. But either way, you don't want to live next to a motherfucker like that. You know what I'm saying? So those were the kind of things he was telling me. And I remember one day I came home and he caught me, as I was coming in from work. And so the Indian family I mentioned before, there was a, the Indian family that was down below underneath him, they had like a newborn, and the mom or the mother would basically sing to the newborn every morning, right? So as before, when I would go down his side of the stairs, I don't like saying his side of the stairs, the side of the stairs that were his, you could hear this Indian woman singing to her kid, right? And it wasn't a big deal. But I came across this dude one time, my neighbor, and my neighbor was like, he was like, yeah, man. He was like, yo, man, yeah, I'm gonna have to call Child Protective Services on the family below. And I'm like, why? He said, because he said that woman downstairs is possessed, like she's like she be screaming and making all kind of noises, and it's just very disruptive, and there's no way a kid should be living in an environment like that. And I was like, oh, wow. So he said that he went to the father and told the dude that he has to keep his wife in check and keep her like quiet, or he's going to call Child Protective Services to get their kid snatched up. So I'm thinking to myself, man, yo, man, you lucky you ain't get stabbed right now, man. Cause that's like, you don't tell no one that, you know what I'm saying? So I'm hearing this every day, right? So I'm documenting all these things down. And maybe like once every other week, I'm going to the leasing office like, yo, have y'all talked to y'all mans? Cause I'm telling you right now, I'm a very patient dude. I'm very patient. I'm very mild tempered, but if you had somebody else that was living in my unit right now, this dude probably be dead right now, because he's making like threats and he's harassing people. Like he doesn't need to be around people living like this, Is this what you guys like? I'm basically asking, like, I basically put the onus on them. I was like, hey, is this what you guys do? Is this how you guys conduct business? Like what's going on here, And then the leasing office started like playing that game where they say, well, if you have a problem, you got to contact the police. It's not our problem. It's not your issue. So I'm like, oh, okay, y'all playing that game. And then they had a new bitch that worked in the leasing office that kind of spilled the beans, and she didn't know better. But I basically like picked her brain, and she basically let the cat out the bag that, hey, this dude has been harassing everyone in our building, And I'm thinking to myself, yo, so if you guys, like, what's going on with all this, right? Like, if you guys are getting all these complaints, why aren't you guys trying to like fix the issue, So, long story short, I made up my mind. Now I'm like, look, I'm not living here. I'm done. As soon as my lease is up, I'm out. What happened? I saw a property manager come out one day, and he saw me like grabbing boxes and crates from my garage and driving them down and packing stuff up in my crates to drop them back up at my garage. And he was like, hey man, just want to let you know that, we have a plan to get that guy out of here. So just give us a couple of weeks. And I'm like thinking to myself, you can do what you want. I done already been here for 5 months. I done gave y'all motherfuckers 5 months worth of rent. And I've been living like a fucking peasant or a fucking prisoner. So I'm like, nah, I just said, okay, whatever, you do what you want. But at that point, I already checked out. I'm like, I'm already done, So that's when I kind of like realized, you know, how important it is to, whenever I rent, me personally, I have to be on the same premise as the person that I have to, like, if I rent, my rule is the tenant or the property manager has to live on the same premise, because if I got a problem, they got a problem, right? So that's like my new rule when it comes to that shit. But anyways, that's everything that I went through with that neighbor, you know? So in retrospect, or in hindsight, what I've learned or what I've deduced from my situation is I've learned that, you know, if I replayed that initial situation, like if I didn't say nothing to that dude and just walked past him and ignored him, he would have probably been shook. Like, yo, I just threatened this dude. I don't think he really cares. He might be crazier than me, you know? So, or when he walked into the washroom, right? When he asked that kind of question. See, when people ask you a broad question like so when a stranger asks you a broad question like that, you have to be able to just know like when not to respond, you know? So when people ask me like a direct question or a specific question about something, I'll acknowledge them and I'll just be like, I don't know. And I'll keep it moving, right? But when people ask you a broad open question, I just keep it moving. And then if they still want to get a response from me, I'll just be like, man, Google that shit, man. Like, I'll just be like, Google that shit and just keep that shit moving, you know? Because you could be trying to size me up, you know? Like, my thing is if you're gonna be a target, don't be an easy target. Like, when you come to approach me on some shit, on some rah-rah shit, I want to make sure that you don't know what you're dealing with, you know? Like, I might be an easy target. I might be the toughest target you ever had, but that's going to be extra stress for you to find out. Like, why am I going to open my mouth and give you the privilege of knowing that, oh, this dude is a jolly happy old little Negro, you know? Nah, fuck that, you know? So very, like I said, I'm very non-confrontational, but I'm also not as openly nice as I used to be, you know, because I got to protect myself at the end of the day, you know? And then I went into all this I went down a rabbit hole, man, where like I was in a dark place for 6 months, yo. Like when you have to come home to where you pay rent or pay a mortgage at, and you have to like go through your mind, yo, I might have to put someone out their misery day in, day out. Like that's not a good feeling, you know? That's not a good feeling, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I am the way I am. That's why, you know, I'm not openly nice. So if you see me and you don't know me, I'll probably just keep it moving, you know? But it is what it is, you know? Yeah. So that's why, you know, I just very, here's the thing too, right? Like I'm undersized as a man, right? I probably stand at about 5'5" if I'm lucky, you know? I'm probably like 5'5", $170, you know? So, like, I'm not even average girl's height, you know what I'm saying? So, me being a jolly, happy little Negro isn't going to work out in my favor, because people can then size you up or size me up and be like, oh, okay, now I can take advantage of this dude, or I can whoop this dude ass, right? But if you quiet and you act like you got an attitude, I'm not trying to act like no tough guy, but if you quiet and just don't respond to shit, being a little dude, there are a lot of crazy little motherfuckers out there, you know what I'm saying? So I want people to think that, oh, because if he doesn't respond to something, this dude might give me the work of my life, you know? But if I was, let's say, like, if I was like 6 foot or above, and if I had some size to me, I could then be a jolly happy Negro, because, like, you know, I'm above average dude's height, you know what I'm saying? And then if somebody, and most dudes aren't going to try to go and randomly challenge someone that's, like, you know, bigger than them, you know what I'm saying? So just some food for thought. So anyways, that's why I am the way I am, right? Right, like, I'm all about making sure that I protect myself, right? Because if you can't protect yourself, man, you can, that's the thing. I'm going off on a tangent here, but it's like, I see a lot of people that want to own property, own houses, do all these things, but they don't look into self-defense, which should be a whole nother topic for another show, right? Because I looked into this shit, right? It's like, you know, There's multiple forms of self-defense. And like with me, it's like I'm exercising my Second Amendment right now. You know, like I'm looking into, or I'm studying gun laws. I'm studying all the laws because at the end of the day, I'm my first and last line of defense. You know, but the one thing I looked at that was interesting was this whole thing about self-defense insurance. You know, because what a lot of people don't realize is when the perp breaks into your house, and let's say that you defend yourself and you maim the person or you kill that person out of self-defense, legally, like, you will beat the criminal charge. But there are like a lot of cases where the family of the person that broke into the house to try to do you harm, they want to seek like a civil suit, right? And then they'll tie you up in court, and now you have to go to court, and now you have to pay for a lawyer, and they're going to play the game of making you spend your money, right? And they may win the civil suit, right? And then you may have to come out of pocket like $500,000 or like $250,000, you know? So like, I was looking into all those things, man. So that's going to be a whole nother episode that I'm going to talk about and break down and tell you where I'm at with that. But that being said, I know it's not the happiest way to end the topic, but it is what it is. You know, we here to talk about real shit. That's why it's called Trippin with Theobold, because we be tripping, you know. What else we got, man? So yeah, so while I was in Buffalo, let me go and pull this up right quick. So before we go any further, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend, do all that fun social media stuff. But yeah, when I was in Buffalo, the tops that got shot up by the white supremacists reopened, right? And it's like literally like it's like a mile away from my grandma's house, you know. So it reopened, and I had to go in there. And go purchase a product, you know. Had to go do it, man. You know, I felt real weird. Like, I felt eerie. I was scared, but I was like, you know what? You gotta go back, and you gotta show the universe that you ain't scared, yo. You ain't gonna let no punk ass motherfucker scare you into not going to a public place to where you can go and conduct business in everyday life. You know what I mean? So I went there. I went to Tops, and I got my kombucha. You know, you guys know I love my kombucha. And I got my bottle, and it says, thank you for shopping at Tops. So you guys probably can't see that because of the glare. But nah, it's a sticker that says, we appreciate you. Thank you for shopping at Tops. So I had mixed feelings about going back to that Tops, man. You know, I had mixed feelings about going back to that Tops. So like I said, I was definitely like happy and glad to see, you know, black people. Because here's the thing, right? That Jefferson Tops is like in a predominantly black neighborhood. Like there are nothing but black people walking. Like before that, there were nothing but black people there, you know. It was good to see. Like it wasn't packed at all. It was very eerie. There's maybe like a handful of cars in the parking lot. I saw maybe like 10. There may be like 10 people shopping in that Tops, you know. I saw black people getting in and out the car. Now, no matter where I'm at now, you know, if I'm inside of if I'm in a parking lot or anywhere wide open in public, I got my head on a swivel doing this. Like, I'm looking for speeding cars. I'm looking for anything crazy. But it was good to see black people, like, you know, getting back out there and shopping again, because Tops is like the Ralph's of Buffalo, right? It's the neighborhood, or it's the city centric grocery store of the city, right? So they're like a lot of like Tops in like white areas, but this Tops was like the only Tops in the black neighborhood, and this neighborhood fought long and hard to get this Tops in this area, you know? So it felt good to see black people going out there and shopping there again. It was very eerie, but the thing that that made me feel kind of weird about that Tops, man, was it's now being managed by white people, you know. It's like before it was a Tops that was there for black people and it was managed by black people. But this now, it's like when I walked in there, it's like I saw like white people working the customer service. I saw white people walking down the aisle, and I even saw white people shopping there. And I'm like, look, I'm not trying to say that white people can't shop where they want to shop, but before that shooting happened, there was no, like, it was a black Tops, right? It was like, so it's just weird to kind of see that, you know. It's just weird. Like I said, I mean, that I just felt kind of weird about that, you know. Like, why are they there, you know? Like, why are they now managing that Tops, you know? Like, what is bringing them there to that area to go shop at that? And maybe they just want to go support and whatever, cool, right? But it's like, the feeling I got when I saw that was, it was like, yeah, you guys don't know how to govern yourselves, so we're gonna take over from now, right? That's kind of that's the feeling I got from it, you know, which I didn't really care for. But that might not be the case. That might just be my paranoia, or that might just be how I think, and maybe that way is wrong. But I feel the way I feel, you know. So, anywho, that's that. What else we got going on here? Yeah, so comedy bump. Probably gonna skip the comedy bump for the day because right now I'm a little over an hour, and I don't want to really go into too many more things. You know, we'll leave those things to talk about for later in the future, you know. But what do I have coming up? So next week, as you guys know, will be the first week in September. Actually, it will be September 1st, next Thursday. And I'm looking at changing the time of this because Thursday is one of my busy days when it comes to like comedy, or it's just a busy day in general, you know, because Thursdays when I hit up open mics, and I'm on the comedy scene networking, you know, doing all these like, you know, like Showtime related things, not Showtime, doing all these comedy related things. And before, like when I shot this, like I had exactly an hour to shoot an episode of Trippin with Theobold, and I would have to literally get up and run to the next spot, right? So I'm looking at doing this in the morning. Not sure what morning I'm going to commit to. Like Thursday morning is fine. I think I might just try to push it to Thursday mornings. But we'll see. Like I said, we'll keep playing around with it. Right now, we'll keep it on Thursdays. God willing, we can keep doing it every Thursday morning. If not, we'll just push it around until we find something that sticks a little better. So, yeah, so I got that. The next episode, like I said, will be out next Thursday, the 1st of September. Today, this afternoon, I got to get ready for this fantasy draft. Like I said, it's a very stressful draft I have coming up. 16-team keeper league. I don't know. We're going to be reaching for some bums on the bench come like round 12. So it's going to be a deep draft. But yeah, once again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys, like I said before, if you guys are watching this on a social media, I said social. If you guys are watching this on a social media platform, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, do all that fun stuff. And if you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify, I thank you for listening. But yeah, with all that being said, that's all, folks. I'm out of here. Peace. Yep. Trippin with Theobold.
Let's go.
Caliente.
Trippin. Yep. Trippin. Trippin. Trippin with Theobold.
Trippin with Theobold.